canceled out now, the pickup and the throwdown back, but again, it's Light who takes the kill.
Could have gone better for Aurora, but macro-wise, the trade is good. It's an XP laner for a gold laner. Look, are my eyes damned? Is that an orange steal from Yasuke?
It seems, no. Demon Kai has the orange ball.
Okay, so that's all the way from his own.
Yep.
All right, so still, the trade stands. That's what's holding Aurora Gaming's 500 gold lead. It's the trade for the Lapu Lapu for the Claude. It's not a good start for Arfi.
I will say this, though. That getting the trade in the EXP lane does even things out between Edward and Nino. Nino already took 2 deaths, so that makes Nino a little more helpful in these future fights.
Jump over on Alec from Edward. Bravest fighter already used up, but Demon Kite is on the turtle, and Yazuke doesn't seem interested, and that was Light. It's caught with a passive, but that's about it. It's free for Aurora. Arfi, blazing duet up top.
That's an ult for an ult in the gold lane. So far, Aurora Gaming have bridged their early game. They figured out, hey, we can be this. I'm holding my hands out about 6 inches apart. This aggressive against the alter ego, but not anymore because AE, they're willing to fight. A little bit of pressure. Tsunami slam.
The lockdown now with Hijime going for the sun as well. Big bonk. Alec gonna be taking it now. Good taunt coming down as Nino rotates and flanks him on the other side. Just in front of Persona to take him down as Yasuke goes in with a Helmet of Dark Wave from Nino over on Yue to the Crimson Beacon. Gets him to safety, and now they go back to the mid lane.
So 2 down on the side of Aurora Gaming. A tower does go into the hands of Aurora Gaming, but Alter Ego are getting away with pushing this aggression in the early game.
Nino not letting the early stumbles take over. Once bitten, never shy. El Padre pushing forward. Dominic finds Yasuke, but again, that's what you get with a Nolan. You get mobility, you get burst, and ladies and gentlemen, look at this crowd just outside Tennis Indoor
GG.
That's why we call MLBB our national sport. At this point, it might just be, dude. Everybody in Indonesia has finally come through.
All right, so taking a look at the items, Arfi only about 360 gold behind, and when we finally have marksman gold laners like this, they are going to be very important in the first, second lords, those big fights that ultimately matter. Starlium Sight does lock in for Domin Kite in the jungle. Even with the 2 deaths on Demon Kite, Yasuke isn't too far ahead.
And just to put this into context, being a tank jungler, you don't need that much farm. So that just spells how slow the farm is for Yasuke. He clears waves much, much faster than Demon Kite. So this is a slow start for Yasuke.
Alright, in the bush, Arfi's gonna try to go for the cancel situation, and all in coming down, Arfi blazing to west, Tsunami slam based on a Purify, they get the kill on Doming. Onto Arfi, turtle up top though, is the response from Aurora.
I don't know how worth it is to trade your gold laner for the turtle. I'm sure Aurora saw that a mile away.
Yeah, that's a big win for Alter Ego, plus big chance of getting this tower on bot as Alter Ego blocks off Light and Yue to try to get down to save it.
Trades all over, and so far, I think Alter Ego have won the past couple. That puts Aurora Gaming in a weird position. The one lane that they for sure won, that gold lane, they just lost.
Yeah, but the thing is Aurora Gaming's okay with a 500 gold deficit, right? They're okay with a 1,000 gold deficit. The whole point of this strategy here is to buy time till around 9-10 minutes, wait till a couple lords where they can beat you out in macro and in big grouped up team fights.
What you're saying is slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Exactly.
So getting there is an inevitability. It's up to Alter Ego to force Aurora to stumble, and that's why Aurora's backing off.
Nami's having the glorious pathway again. Yue able to go for Crimson Beacon, flicker up from Hijime, but he gets picked up and thrown back to the fray as Light goes in with Edward. But all I can say, I'm gonna sustain
Arfi into the backside with a blazing duet.
Gets big bonked on him. Now the fracture coming in from Yasuke to take Domin Kite down as Nino continues to jump back and forth. Infernal pursuit, but now it's Yue to lock him down. He goes for one last one, but Edward cuts him down.
Ay caramba, El Padre falls, and Yasuke instead goes for the purple. Demon Kite reciprocates.
Trade for trade, purple for purple, but for the first time, Aurora Gaming gets a huge win on that team fight. They turn it into a tower as well.
AE seems to have met their match. An unspeakable amount of aggression, unparalleled target acquisition, met with an Ube lineup that breaks through your box. This is the unboxing strat that Wolf often talks about. Aurora Gaming, the way their lineup works is, it's just ungodly amounts of crowd control that the backline just can't even come in. Hijime just popped like that.
Big Sky Piercer pickup there, and every time Light sees the feathered airstrike, he just starts running at him.
That's a straight line.
Straight line.
All right, so from here, taking a look at these gold laners once again, still at about a standstill. 2 items for 2 items. I think the question is, you know, normally the Claude has been so much better in terms of things, but Domeng on the Harith, he's his own breed at this point.
Yep, and that's the thing. When it comes to Arfi, he's good on the marksman, but he's not great. He's great on the Freyas, on the fighters as well. And you can clearly see Arfi, he got canceled on that fight. He went in way too early, and now Aurora's holding the turn for the Lord.
Dance has begun. Alter Ego making their move to conceal from Alec.
You know, walking up and Edward doing the same thing now with the help of Glorious Pathways. Tsunami Slam is able to lock Edward down, but now look at the damage on the Hijume. It's Edward in the back with light.
And now Yasuke goes down as well. Alec all on his own.
You know, jumping to the back line now, trying to go for the pursuit, but again, it's going to be Domeng, Kai, and Yue going for the damage. Domeng doing enough to take Nino down with the help of Yue.
Alter Ego struggle in these situations where they're not the aggressors, they're not the predators, they're not in control. Aurora Gaming on the flick of a dime go for the heart of their lineup, and that's what led to this massive win.
Alter Ego already down to inhibitors on the mid side. Aurora Gaming just punching a straight line with the Lord coming soon.
It's been a while since we've seen a carry lapu-lapu. But that is what Edward is right now.
Thanks.
Mr. Consistent, consistently finding Hijume, compromising Arfi. The one combo you have, Tsunami Slam into either of these carries should do it. That's what's making Yasuke's job so hard is, how do I clean up? What do I clean up?
I think the big thing for Alter Ego in past games is they're able to last it up. Wait a second.
There we go. That's a big charge from the Lord into mid lane. They crack it open with no response from Alter Ego. Arfi taking a big portion of that damage. Dark Wave landing on 3, but there's no damage currently. And Aurora have had enough. They crack open the base turret, and now it's back to the systematic Aurora.
They smelled something was fishy there. No vision on Yasuke. Where is he hiding out? They decide, all right, we got what we came for. That's a huge win already this early. Let's back off.
This is a moment wherein our good friend Joseph would say they got their head on a swivel. They don't need to see Yasuke, but the fact that they don't see him
Means they see him.
should be a signal, yeah, that
They know where he at.
around.
They shot at the face.
They sniffed him, and now Yasuke commits Grand Theft Purple, guilty of 1 charge. Hijume forced to use the Feathered Airstrike just to clear mid. As
Light.
Aurora just flush out the jungle. All right, spots him, drops that Glorious Pathway. Hijume just wings by wings out.
At this point, it's a mind game from Light, dude.
And at this point, they're farming each other's purples. I think that's like the 3rd one to just go to opposite sides.
Cross jungling.
Cross jungling, exactly.
Light here gets that stun on Alec. Even Alec isn't having the greatest time. A majority of the targets that he can hit will either purify or would love to be in the center of Alter Ego's lineup.
All right, so taking a look at these items one more time. Yasuke's been farming his mind off, essentially. He's still ahead of Demon Kite, even with the gold deficit. His goal has been get your items up.
But him being ahead by 100 isn't where he wants to be. Again, tank items, ladies and gentlemen, are significantly cheaper than damage items. So he wants to be like 1,000, 1,500 up. Because look, Demon Kite's Fredrin already has Athena Shield, Anti-Cuirass, Brute Force Breastplate. This is all he needs.
I would even go further, Leo. I feel like a 1,000 gold lead won't even cut it against a Fredrin on a Nolan. You need to be ahead by at least 2,000.
A full item.
A full item. And that's usually how it is when we see the Yisun Shin against a Fredrin, Nolan against the Fredrin, the fast clearers.
And that's what Aurora Gaming is doing so well here in game number 1. Not only are they winning head-on initiations, but they're able to find resources, take away from Yasuke. Light counter the initiate.
Yep. Now it's going to be the disengage from Nino. He goes for the Dark Wave, landing it onto, but now Edward forcing to fight. That's good. Tsunami Slam to cancel out the last portion of the Raging Slash. Big bomb from Demon Kite, and Edward cuts him down again. He's on a killing spree.
Yasuke still in the jungle, gonna try to lock on.
That ain't it. He got taunted by the demon, and Domeng takes him down.
UN and Domenkite are good targets, but not when there's 2 chunky boys next to them. Make it 3. A half man, half horse.
And that's the way that Aurora Gaming is approaching every single one of these fights. Everyone just huddles around Demon Kite and Light. Because if anyone tries to catch Domeng, and if anyone tries to catch Yue, the taunt comes in. The little bonk from Hylos comes in.
We've come full circle, ladies and gentlemen. The last time Edward was on this stage, in this arena, not a single game he won. And he's just moments away from correcting that historically.
4-1-6. Man is performed. Oh, wait a second. This is a classic Alter Ego move. Whenever the enemy gets a lord, they go to look for the pickoff, but can they take Edward down? Tsunami's time coming down with the burst damage of Ijume, and Edward will have the immortality, actually. I think that's enough to get him out, and Edward does survive, and now he goes back in with a helmet Ibukai. Meanwhile, light in the back line with Yue, jumping in as Dome goes for the base, but is on force already. Yasuke getting rid of Yue, but Dome has to be all loaded the way Yue comes in from RP.
Ino also trying to block it off as Yasuke works on the Lord.
Ino's all alone, now against 4. He's jumping ready for the pursuit. He's so tanky, but again, he's constantly jumping in as RP does a lot of the damage. Dark Wave coming in from Nino, but Dome takes him down.
The minions are cleared, but one more wave against the base.
They're gonna go straight for it. No nonsense. Aurora take game 1.
Surgical and clean. Aurora knows which fights to take, and Alter Ego have met their match. Game 1 goes to the Northern Lights.
Hopefully at this point some lessons were learned from both sides, but mostly from Alter Ego. If they're gonna ban the Freya, you might just have to start banning the Fredrin. You might have to respect the other team as well.
And you gotta feel for RP in that situation. He went Claude. He's like, all right, do I go Purify or Flicker? Why would I go Purify? The only guy that can cancel me is Demon Kite on Fredrin. And we got a Phobias, we have a Barca, we have ways to stop him from going in. But then Demon Kite just says, yeah, nah.
What a rude awakening for last night's multiple-time MVP winner, Arfi. This is one way to realize I'm not a great marksman. I'm pretty good, but not great. What else do Alter Ego have up their sleeves?
Well, one thing's for sure, they cannot give the Claude over to Dome.
All right. At this point, definitely don't give it a Domang. Definitely maybe start thinking about the Fredrin. But let's see what the panel has to say about it. An amazing first game, guys.
I would say it's a perfect way to open up the grand finals. And gentlemen, the thing that I've noticed now, after the first game of this grand finals, the whole story about M7 is your identity. The teams that figure out and stick to their identity will eventually win, and those that betray themselves will start to lose. Here, Aurora, again, bringing that utility jungler looks absolutely amazing, and so far, Arfi is the best when it comes to fighters in the gold lane. I think it's still pretty good on the quad, but again, I kind of feel like at this point, either Alter Ego really needs to respect this strat coming in from Aurora and figure out a way to deal with it, or they just got to figure out their own identity and somehow give a fighter over to Arfi.
Well, I don't think they're moving too far away from their identity. I don't know if you'll agree with me, Will, but I think a lot of this game just boiled down to dividing and conquering in the earlier stages of the game. But I think Light, as the point guard, making clear decisions for the rest of the team. Hey, let's stop the feathered airstrike. I saw at the peripheral vision of my minimap, Yasuke moving over to that purple buff. We can defend it if we don't waste too much time.
I will never argue against that identity of Aurora because I think it is the identity of Aurora. They actually have been so masterful with it. Maybe the only reason why this is not looking good for Alter Ego or giving it up is not good for it's not going to be good for them for the entire series is because of the fact that they can make mistakes when up against this kind of composition. For Aurora, all they have to do is to play the game as it should be played, and that's exactly what they did. They punished the side of Alter Ego when Alter Ego tries to go for an over aggressive play. Remember the play in the bottom lane where they did get important kills, or Alter Ego did, but they eventually got traded out. Kills after kills after kills, like minus one every minute. It all becomes, it all piles up, and then all of a sudden, you're no longer in control of the game.
And look at this, the MVP by Realme, our official giving phone. 3-1 and 10 is Light coming in from Aurora, Philippines, and again, absorbing a lot of damage. And as amazing as Claude is, I actually do like the introduction of the Chastised Cauldron into the tank items, because I feel like it is an item that took a while for a lot of players to warm up to, but now you can see quite a lot of players actually don't mind rushing this item. Even if you think the opponent is not like an attack speed hero, you would be surprised against opponents that even if they don't have attack speed, it does matter a lot.
Oh, it matters so much. That passive is disgusting, especially when you have like a slight lead in the earlier stages of the game. It feels like you're unkillable. Yeah. So a lot of these moments, as we see them actually fight, right, comes down to, does Hijime have this ult or not? Can Light actually look to cancel it out? Because as soon as Hijime loses that important ultimate, Yue can do whatever he wants, right? He doesn't need his ult to be relevant in these fights.
I wouldn't even go out of my way and say that the Chastised Cauldron was actually the reason why we have fighter gold laners right now because they're not dependent on attack speed. And in this scenario, you're looking at this Nolan as well as this Claude. The Claude will definitely suffer from this chastise smolder. The timing was just perfect. Now, let's talk about like how do you actually implement this utility strategy coming out from Aurora. This is a box type strategy that is really good at punishing those that it can unbox. If you're looking at the composition of Alter Ego, they kind of want to go front to back with this Nolan, with this Phobies, then eventually with this Claude, but they can also go dive. I think that Alter Ego chose to continuously dive against Aurora, and the result is they just kept getting picked off. I think their formation wasn't good enough for them to implement this kind of strategy because they are always diving into the box, the area or the zone of control of Aurora.
Yeah, and I love the fact that Light was able to be that focal point, right? Really the cornerstone to make sure that this box actually works. You're revealing one edge of it, but truly, do you see every single angle? Most of the time, it's going to be no. The best way to summarize the way the game was basically played, it's checkers, right? We're not even getting into the chess side of it yet. It's consistent trades, and eventually Aurora is able to get 2s and 3s.
And the reason why they're getting 2s and 3s when they're just giving up 1s is because they are good at turning into heroes that put a lot of priority, that they put a lot of priority in important heroes of Alter Ego. For example, if Phobius comes and jump into the Harriet and the Harriet doesn't have the ultimate, they immediately turn into that Phobius. When the Claude comes in, they will drop everything that they have and they will focus on that Claude. Aurora is so good at reacting to Alter Ego to the point where Alter Ego looks like they're creating those mistakes just because of how Aurora is instantaneous with their reactions.
I really like the refinement coming in from Aurora because again, they know how they play. They just got to make sure that it's basically perfect. And in case something does go wrong, how do you react to it? And I got to say, most of their reactions is actually from Edward. Edward made sure that no shenanigans is going to be there. You guys come in, you got to fight the Lapu.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, there's so many times where as an EXP laner, pressing buttons is the right way to go, but he's holding onto that land shaker only for the right moments, only for when the movement abilities and dashes are out. That's when he goes for the big plays, that's when he goes for the flickers.
Yeah. Now you have to think, if you are heading to game number 2, if you're Alter Ego, do you deny or ban the Frederick? So as teams have tried to solve the problem against Alter Ego, which is the Freya and the Leomord, and the only way to go about it is to just ban the Freya, you're now Alter Ego. Do you now ban the Frederick?
I mean, like,
think about the Harith.
I'm worried because of 2 things. Number one is that Frederick's not there, Leomar is going to be there, and Dimikai has already shown he has a pretty mean Akai. Now, here's the thing. This is the World Championship, and our players need the best device just to make sure that everything happens smoothly. And for you guys at home, there's an extra edge for everyone. You guys get the Realme 15 Pro because, again, it has all the AI goodies, win rate predictions, analyze gold item, everything in real time, and it even have the consecutive skill function. So in case you're new to the hero, you can set your skills, and then with just one button, it can execute perfectly. Again, shout outs to the Realme 15 Pro, the M7 official gaming phone, for making sure they gave the very best experience to our players. You play, we carry. This is the Realme 15 Pro, the M7 official gaming phone.
Beautiful design, nice and sleek, and it's got everything. Honestly, I like the size of it. It fits my hands really nicely, so I'm going to keep this in the meantime. Don't worry about it.
And now, Gideon, would you mind inviting V? Because V will like to see this grand finals. V has been here the entire time, looking very cute. So, again, thank you very much to V. Come on, let's check out this guy and see what V has to say to us.
B, but you don't have to be shy. You don't have to be shy, but you can give it. Come on, be brave, be brave.
Alright, my name's Fino. I'm from Visa, the brand that connects the whole world, like everywhere. My job's dead simple: help you pay fast, safe, and proper, smart. Shopping, traveling, even them little day-to-day bits. With V, you're sorted, no stress, sound that. So come on, let's crack on with a cashless life that's easier and boss.
B, I didn't know you knew Scouts. You really are an international phenomenon.
Hey, I gotta say, V sounds like he can't get knocked out, man. Something about V, like you kind of don't want to mess with him. He can be your best friend in more ways than one. He's the real MVP. Like, if someone messes with you, you're like, yo, V, you got my back, right?
Championship caliber.
Championship caliber. Shout outs to Scouts as well.
Yeah, man.
Might as well, right?
If I ever get into a bar fight, I'm calling V over. He's one of my boys.
And here's the thing, if you guys want to fight, how about a 1v1, right? Because you guys can actually 1v1 with the Very Games app. You guys can create and host the 1v1. You guys can play and then get as much points as you can to eventually get you prizes like the M7GB rings, the MLBB diamonds, and of course, new MLBB skins. Make sure you guys download on the App Store as well as Google Play Store and register your MLBB ID to start playing. Now, gentlemen, shout outs to all our sponsors. They're amazing friends. And you guys made this possible. And we do hope that this Grand Finals goes all the way, because even though we've seen Zephyr for like what? A better part of 2 to 3 weeks now, we've seen that he likes to adjust. Now, I really want to see how he adjusts for this one, because in that previous draft, Leomord was not touched at all. Not picked, not banned. I wonder if something will change around the jungle pick.
I think, I know, and now Wolf has already brought up a couple of good points about specifically having these utility junglers. I think it's less of a problem with the utility junglers, but the combination of it with this Jushin. That's why we're not seeing the Leomord in this particular matchup, because, the amount of peel that they have with just these two heroes is kind of insane. And sprinkle a little bit more CC, and then it becomes impossible.
Well, you know what? I think it's fine, because here's the thing. Our players are playing on the secret lab chair, which make it so that they can play all 7 games here, giving amazing comfort with the ergonomic chairs trusted by the world's best MLBB teams. Whether you're enjoying a casual game with friends or representing your org and a country on the M7 world stage, Secret Lab can elevate your game with tournament-grade ergonomic support. Again, the very same kind that powers the pros, the casters, analysts, everyone here in the MLBB Pro scene.
Get yours today, maybe tomorrow. Hey, I mean, you take your time with it, because again, if you want greatness, start with the Secret Lab. Wolf, I'm curious to know, because for this upcoming game, we've seen Aurora kind of like make these small adjustments every time they play in the upper bracket. Do you think they are going to be the ones who are going to stick to their guns, or switch on over to just make sure AE is constantly on the edge?
The quick answer to that is they're going to stick with their guns until it loses, until there is a draft that Alter Ego can come up with to counteract it. I think that is the reason. The reason why that is the case is because they want to get as much points as possible, to get to that point where if they're at, let's say at match point, if they already are figured out afterwards, then they employ a new strategy that hopefully Alter Ego does not solve yet. So to answer your question, until it works, they will use it.
Hey, you know what they say, right? That's how cookie crumbles in beginning, right?
That's
so
right.
as long as it still works, just keep on using it. Like, I like that mentality, because it's really on you. Because we got to remind ourselves, I would say even in the best of 5, the mental stamina is going to be tested, right? So I really feel like you got to pace yourself. You don't have to do anything unnecessary and burn out early. If you just, in a sense, just blow your load early, it makes it very difficult for you to draft later on, because then like, okay, there's just no more surprises.
I don't know, that sounds a little premature. Considering that both of these teams are truly at the top of their game, it's really trying to get as close to the edge as possible without tipping over and losing your sense of self, right? Because once you have that clarity after you make those mistakes, I think that AE now, coming into this draft, might switch things up. First of all, I think it has to start with blue side, red side.
That's right.
Can I just say, I love your linguistic ability.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
Yep. You're really good at this. And then we're talking about like the adjustments coming up from Alter Ego. They have to start with the blue side for sure. But now they also will have to think about their jungle choices. I think that the idea why they chose the Nolan makes sense in a vacuum, because you need an assassin against the Jushin. You also need a hero that can outpace this Fredrin. However, the Fredrin plus the Jushin combination is such a strong combo in a way that you can only counter one and not both. If you counter the Fredrin part, then the Jushin part will just be free. And then when you try to counter the Jushin part, the Fredrin, as you saw in game number 1, will be free. So I think that the middle ground in that scenario is to go for fighters. That's why I really thought that a Suyo would be a better choice in that previous draft. Maybe a Guinevere eventually. I think that Alter Ego just have to really pick their battles, or maybe just make sure that they only have to solve one.
I would have to say something that I like about the draft coming in from Aurora or from Philippines in general is that they draft in a way where the margin of error is actually quite low. But now we have more surprises here in the MS7 World Championship. In fact, we're going to be throwing it over to the host to see, is there any more surprises for us?
Aurora Gaming Philippines takes the first blood in this best of 7 series. However, before we continue this action-packed series, we have some very exciting news to share with our MLBB fans.
We were pretty sure that everyone will love this, especially MLBB fans from Thailand. What exactly is it? Well, let's all watch this video.
ในฐานะทีมที่ได้แชมป์ไทยเยอะที่สุดมันถึงเวลาแล้วที่เราต้องมุ่งสู่ขั้นต่อไปนั่นคือการเป็นแชมป์โลกของจริง
ถ้าตั้งใจคนไทยไม่แพ้ชาติใดในโลกพวกเราจะพิสูจน์ให้เห็นในเวทีระดับโลก
อนาคตที่ยั่งยืนคือเป้าหมายของเรา ซึ่ง MLBB สามารถช่วยให้เราไปถึงเป้าหมายนั้นได้พวกเราได้พิสูจน์ตัวเองแล้วพวกเราก็เป็นทีมแชมป์ในเกมโมบ้าบนมือถือได้เหมือนกันและตอนนี้พวกเราก็อยากจะเผชิญหน้ากับความท้าทายใหม่ๆไปกับ MLBB
ถ้าเพื่ออนาคตที่รออยู่ข้างหน้าต่อให้อุปสรรคจะถาโถมเข้ามาแบบไหนพวกเราก็ไม่หวั่นไหว
จงกล้าในวันที่คนอื่นกลัวการที่เราเป็นผู้บุกเบิกสิ่งใหม่แม้มันอาจจะยากแต่มันคือโอกาสที่ประเมินค่าไม่ได้
อย่างที่รู้กันพวกเราคือทีมแห่งโอกาสและในเมื่อมีโอกาสใหม่ๆเข้ามาพวกเราก็ยินดีรับมันไว้
โอกาสจะมาถึงมือคนที่ไม่ยอมแพ้เท่านั้นและโอกาสที่ว่านั้นก็ได้มาถึงมือพวกเราแล้ว
MLBB คือเกมที่จะพาประเทศไทยไปสู่ระดับโลกได้อย่างแท้จริงการันตีด้วยยอดผู้เล่นกว่า 1,500 ล้านคนในมากกว่า 200 ภูมิภาคและประเทศทั่วโลกแถมยังมียอดเข้าชมการแข่งขัน e-sport บนมือถือพร้อมกันมากที่สุดในโลกประจำปี 2025 ถึง 4,100,000 วิวและถูกเสนอชื่อเข้าชิงรางวัลในรายการ The e-sport Award และ The Game Award ถึง 2 ปีซ้อนประเทศไทยพร้อมลุยแล้วร่วมประกาศศักดาของไทยให้ทั้งโลกได้เห็นกัน
And there you guys have it. A new regional tournament is officially here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mobile Legends Bang Bang Super League Thailand launches this year.
This league will feature 10 elite teams composed of 8 established Thai powerhouses and 2 teams from open qualifiers.
And Glenn, I actually heard that some of the MSL Thailand representatives are here in the arena with us watching the M7, and I cannot wait to see them in action. Also, guys, for your information, MSL Thailand directly connects the region to the global MLBB ecosystem, as their champions will have a slot in the MSC 2026 wildcards.
This is a huge note for Thailand's legacy in MLBB that began with their victory at the first MLBB International Championship in MSC 2017.
Yes, sir. Now, don't forget to tune in to MSL Thailand as the open qualifiers begin in March. For now, let's continue on our Best of 7 series. Let the world see us.
Yes, sir, dude! Oh boy, really excited to have Thailand here with everybody else. And more importantly, LaFell, we witnessed it from the very beginning, right? All the way from MSC and now reintroducing this previous legacy region back to the modern age.
All right, just to confirm. All right, I can hear my voice. That's perfect. And yes, shout out to Thailand. Can't wait to go back there again for the wildcards. Well, hopefully we get to go there, right? But either ways, right now in this best of 7, we can see all 10 players are already on stage. Looking at the faces of Alter Ego, they look calm, they look happy. So I'm really feeling like, okay, game 1, we learned quite a few things. Now it's really all about adjustment. I feel like honestly, when it comes to draft, I think it's honestly quite good. You know, everything is okay. It really is just about the execution, and I really feel like it's just Aurora just being one step ahead because they've been using this since forever, right?
And they were so instant when it comes to their picks, right? When they saw that it was the Claude, they instantly go for the Frederick and Harry. They didn't even waste any second to pick those up. And then they also went for their comfort picks with the Lapu-Lapu as well as the Hydas. Some people will say that the Esmeralda will be better against the Phobius and whatnot, and against the Farsta, you can't have that high loss, but they still went for that because they're not that concerned about their opponent's strategy. They're more concerned about can they actually execute their box. And you saw in the previous game, they are so systematic with it. When somebody jumps, they will go deal with the high loss. They help each other out when it comes to their box setups, and Demon kind, so reliable with the taunts.
He's really good at it. They had the golden trifecta of the Zushin, made sure that they have the high loss, and on top of all of that, having a Fredrin, I don't see them becoming an impenetrable wall without that golden trifecta. Hopefully, we will see something a little different here in Broken Walls.
Nice transition there, yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, because, we are in Broken Walls. Alter Ego will be first pick. And look at this, already batting out those
the utility jumpers.
Frisky utility jumpers, man. Yes, that's how I describe them.
Frisky.
Deal with it.
Interesting.
Am I wrong though?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong, but they definitely.
Because they do step on you.
They do step on you. They come into full contact on purpose, right? And I still like the idea that AE needs to get rid of this Khalid, but at the same time, does this disrupt the trifecta? You don't have the utility jungles anymore. I feel like AE wants to force Aurora in a more coin flippy style of composition.
It may be somewhere along the lines of a Croc because it is actually available as of now. At the same time though, are they actually willing to play the Jushin? We do know that it is a very strong hero, but we rarely get to see Alter Ego pick that up. However, I still feel like it's the best mage that we have right now in the metagame, just because it allows for you to be snowbally in the laning stage when you get the turtle so easily, and even in the latter portions, because of the Sky Piercer, can actually back up a punch, can actually impact the team fights. Seems like there will be a little bit of a change.
I mean, like, here's the thing, Wolf. I don't know about you, but I love Jushin, man. Any reason to pick it up, I'll pick it up. Because Jushin is one of those heroes that's really not selfish. Right? She will always help people out. And if attention gets on her, she can protect herself.
She's literally like...
She don't need no man.
She's literally like the most tanky mage we have in the meta.
Yes!
Kind of ridiculous how the design of it made her like impossible to deal with at times, but I feel at the bare minimum, this might be a mistake. I think that right now, holding on to just Freya alongside with the Jushin, there has to be some kind of leeway here. There needs to be some kind of give and take.
I gotta say, sometimes I feel like she's as tanky as a Grok. Which, a big wall of a castle, and a girl that doesn't even wear shoes. Make sense. Floating around.
With butterflies, you know. What I feel like, what makes...
Yep, there you go, I agree, yeah.
Jushin really strong is that...
You guys love Jushin too, right? Yeah, see, everyone loves Jushin.
Of course. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, Jushin is a hero that actually activates most of the junglers, even when they're assassin junglers. Obviously, Fredrin with the Jushin or any utility jungler with the Jushin is already pretty good. But if you play the assassin, just because of your mid lane prio, how strongly you can affect the mid lane when it comes to the laning stage, that makes Jushin really a big threat when it comes to... It's really a first pick worthy hero.
Honestly, it's very interesting where Munta tried to adjust her, thinking like, okay, now we'll see something. He was like, no, you kind of made it stronger.
Yep. It's really difficult to balance this hero, right? Because again, it has such a unique mechanic that outranges literally everybody at level 1, and there's nothing you can do about it, you know? With the only exception being Kimmy, but that's only when her passive is up and you can zone her off the wave anyways.
Yeah. I kind of don't want Munta to adjust her that much.
But there's so many nerfs that the Jushin, but still first pick worthy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Cho. The kit is always going to be relevant.
The kit is always so good.
Yeah. I think Cho and Claude, they're both like M-series heroes, you know?
Yeah. I mean, as well.
No, here's the thing. I really have this theory. There are certain heroes, no matter what, you can one-trick them. Like Cho is the best example. Even if the damage Cho is bad, you have tank. If tank Cho is bad, you go damage. And if either is bad, your kick is going to be so good, it doesn't matter.
Cho is a type of hero where you can have a 10-month drought in a year, and then come the M-series, it will still be a success. It will still be a priority pick. You know,
That's why he has a lot of skins.
It's so good. It's so. I wouldn't be too surprised if there was like a subreddit r/way of the dragon just for the show. It makes so much sense.
Yep, there you go. We
talked about both of these heroes, the Persecution and then the Grok.
Grok into Leomord. They banned out the Freya at the very least, so still respect there from Rora.
Okay, so how do you answer this, Alter Ego? You don't necessarily want to go for the Klon immediately because there's the Grok. I think you also can take away Harith. At the same time, though, that will be not a good hero for you. So this is super duper interesting for Alter Ego because now we can see how they will now manage to counter the Leomord. Previously, they went in for the Klon, then eventually the Suyo.
Yep.
However, because they already showed that before, Aurora might be prepared against that.
What if they went?
I think they. Okay, so.
Speaking of Cho, by the way.
Cho.
Most of the heroes we talk about is here.
Well, I was expecting the Cho. I wasn't so sure about the user. I was thinking more along the lines of Sora first to kind of keep things open, but this is a very direct way to play the comp.
I think the Farsa will be picked up here by Aurora, but then again, Harith is also available. I think just between those two heroes will be the third pick here for Aurora. I think the Farsa is a much better pickup, though.
I mean, like, here's the thing. This is why I feel like Alter Ego, they're lying by being honest. Because again, look at the draft. They're like, okay, we kind of know where everything is going, but at the same time, you're like, wait, where is this going?
Yeah. Well, what we do know is that Aurora is going into that funnel direction. This Farsa and the Grok, a worthy adversary to what Cho Jushin mid lane. I think that matchup is so even. I mean, of course, the first wave literally favors the Farsa and the Grok because of the wall and their ground part, but from then on, this mid lane battle is probably one of the strongest mid lane battles we'll ever get to see.
No, yeah, I appreciate this duo, you know. Choshin and Farok are amazing.
Groxa.
I like that. I like that a lot better.
I kind of like Farok.
Farok, yeah.
Because you can create a skin. Farshot. Nah, but like Rock, you know, like imagine Farsa with the guitar and Grok with drums.
I like that. I like that.
That's a skin idea.
That's a skin idea.
Yeah, that's,
you know, rock out.
Make it happen.
That's the duo that's going to be rocking my world in just a little bit. Uranus banned for the side of AE. I think this is to be expected. Do they want to double down with an Esme on top of it, or do they want to diversify?
I think the Esmeralda just is such a good plan because if they will not have enough for that, they only have the Cho and the Jushin. There are few heroes that can actually survive this mid lane duo, and Esmeralda is definitely one of those heroes. He's a worthy ban. At the same time, there was a time where the Glue and the Farsa was used to counter the Yuzhong. Even someone like Sanford, who mains the Yuzhong, will not survive that kind of lane. So Glue and Esmeralda might be the choices here for Zephyr when it comes to the ban.
So right now for Aurora, they already banned out the Guinevere. What other jungler are they looking out for? It looks like they want to take away the Esmeralda, so there's a good chance.
They want to Lapu, I feel like. And Harith, obviously. I think this is a fourth pick Harith for Aurora. And now if you're Zephyr, you're going to be thinking about, do I ban Harith or do I focus on the Edward hero? I believe that banning out Dominguez might be better because you can really never have enough bans against Edward.
Do you feel like Aurora will go Claude?
Oh, man.
I think Aurora will go Harith.
All right.
I think most comfortable, they go Harith. Worst comes to worst, they go Granger, right?
Yes. It's not even, I wouldn't say, there you go. Yeah. That's the Harith ban. Well done, Zephyr. But then you're left with Granger still for Aurora.
Oh. Yeah, but I kind of feel like Granger, you still have the Claude, so it's like still good, you know?
Yeah, it's still good no matter what, but at the end of the day, you know that the Cho on the other side, you have to take the Purify, which does hurt the odds in the lane when you end up fighting and go for the all-in, considering how often we see both teams kind of rotate to the opposite sides of the map.
Yeah. Looking like they still went Klon. Well done. Well, they steal it away, though. That's interesting.
Yeah, because I kind of feel like the whole theme of M7 as well is just to make sure that you win lane.
Yeah.
And again, Claude has a favorable lane against most matchup. Now that the Freya is not there, even against a Granger, it's still going to be fine.
I really like it. Now, I think you're left with that.
I think go Yisun Shin.
Yisun Shin against Farsa, Grok, and Leomord. That might be
very hard,
Ego. I think they will just go Suyo, honestly. Suyo, Granger. Just run it back.
Run it back, but it's going to cost him
There
a
you
little
go.
bit. It's a good call by Wolf, but at the same time, the damage profile doesn't really. It's a lot more manageable for the side of Aurora. Antiques come through, and some dumb ices. It's going to be a tough game.
Now Glue, Glue is just perfect, I would say, for Aurora. Patrick, with this kind of composition, that's gonna really tear up Alter Ego apart. But then the safest option is the Lapu-Lapu. You can always just go back to that.
I think there is an opportunity to go above and beyond and play Arlet because there's a lot of enablers for the side of Aurora, and you need somebody who actually can force out not only Purifies, but shove Shushin back into the fight.
This is a bit off, but I kind of feel like I kind of hope there's no more skins for the Glue, so that can be the ultimate skin that he has.
Aurora.
And now Aurora, they finish it up with the Sora. Again, a lot of crowd control, and when you do need it, you can go for more damage. What do you think about the side lane matchups here, Wolf?
Pretty even, but nah, I think it's Aurora-sided. Yeah, I would go for Aurora, actually. after a few seconds of thinking, it's Aurora.
I think it really depends on who's going to get that first blood. If Nino wins out his lane, I think this is going to be a very interesting mid-game.
I mean, like, again, this is all about momentum. Whoever has, I would say, the good 5 minutes of the game can really start to control the tempo. So now, ladies and gentlemen, the drafts has been done. We're jumping into Broken Walls for game number 2 of this grand finals. Now we're going to give it back to Leo, Trex, and Mirko.
Select adjustments coming in from these two teams going into game number 2. Will alter egos changes spell a different result, or will Aurora continue to push forth?
I like it at this point. I mean, here's my big problem coming from Aurora. Coming from Aurora for AE. The Sora right now, I think, was the winning piece of this draft in my mind. I think it's something that it's gotten overlooked in the last game, and right now coming in, it's going to be something that can jump into the back line, can do damage to Arfi, can get onto Hijume, and can also be a nice, bulky frontliner for Aurora Gaming PH.
Is the best way to win a draft from the red side, using red 5 this well.
Yep. It's really, really good by Aurora Gaming Philippines there, but I think for Alter Ego, they built a very, very good core foundation for those neutral objective takes. The Yuzong with the Suyo, it seems to be the answer against the Leomord right now. SRG played it, got a really good game against Alter Ego.
It's one of the few key wins on the hero that has almost been forgotten since last year's World Championships. Also, the reason why this is such a comfortable Suyo game, there's only really one painful source of mana, and that's Yue. And this lineup, I'd say, is built to hunt down Yue. Nino on the Yuzhong, even Alec can, get bulky and kick him right out of the skies.
Yeah, but getting the Grok and then getting the Leomord is something that's going to be able to stop that. It's something that's going to be a big problem for Alter Ego. And last game, Yasuke also had a nice hunting hero, but he wasn't able to find the angles. So this time, a lot of it's going to come down to, can he finally get past Aurora Gaming to those heroes?
Turtle spawning in the lower quarter of the map. You'll see that the Claude will try to push fast, clear it, get double waves, and then join the fight.
After a long time of not seeing Suyo, well, hold on, Deepakai gets completely zoned. This is a Turtle 1 take for free for Alter Ego, unless Edward gets kind of petrified. Now it's going to be Alec on the way to Dragon, but it's going to be Edward who's still going to go for the CC immune just a bit. Now take it very low, flickers out of safety as Hijume can't get quite close enough.
Frederick, you were saying?
I was saying, the Suyo, it's so rarely picked up that a lot of teams going up against it would just not be prepared for it. But it seems like for Aurora Gaming Philippines, they know how fast a Suyo can go, and that's why Yue, Edward, Domeng, they're playing it so safe.
But can they stop it from its speed? We're already seeing a first Turtle go into Alter Ego. This might not be a composition that Aurora Gaming wants to take the super slow route to. At some point, they do need to try to fight it out.
And I think that's dictated by their jungler. You kind of want to snowball. Not as fast as you would like a true assassin, but with a Leomord, you kind of want to get the most out of that power spike you get when you have your War Axe and then your Brute Force. From there, you kind of feel unstoppable. I know I did this morning, trying to jump on Edward. I think Nino knew that Yue was hiding in there.
Something was fishy about that.
Again, you don't see it, that means you see it.
Taking a look at the items right now, Arfi looking for Hunter Strike or an impossible early Sky Piercer. He's gonna go straight to Sky Piercer,
He's
right?
gonna skip
Did
it.
that yesterday as well. He likes to go for that Sky Piercer up front, but wait.
Great reaction from Hijume, but it's a bit late now. Has to burn the flicker. So it's light with the flicker and also Hijume.
Both teams really just testing the waters right now. No big full commit engages, but seeing what the other team is gonna do.
His limit testing, and now Arfi, Ego de Oro, finds that early Sky Piercer. Now it's up to Alter Ego to ride that wave.
No red tree, and Yazuki didn't even get it there, the green camp. So this is info for Demon Kai to utilize.
So last time that we saw Arfi go for this early Sky Piercer, there was a quick gank up to the gold lane. I mean, either after this turtle or maybe even give up the turtle and go for it, but it's all about trying to get Arfi these stacks as soon as possible.
Time's a ticking. We'll see if that kind of rotation will be the play for Alter Ego. But what is clear is they want this second turtle. Massive presence from El Familia here. Aurora Gaming want to contest.
Edward jumping in. Hijume no flicker. Going to be brought back into the better airstrike now. Hijume taking very low. Plays a new way from Domain.
Back to the Lord. Edward does find the kill, but Demon Kai finds Nino.
It's an all-out win for Aurora Gaming Philippines. Yue trying to go for stun onto Arfi now. 3 for 0, and even a turtle taken by Aurora.
Say what you will about Aurora's draft, it being very ult dependent and timing reliant. They found the perfect timing. They used every single ult that mattered to take down 3 members of AE and the second turtle too. That's one of the major problems I have with the Suyo. When the hero was big, this was still one of the major problems is there's too many dudes in there. And look at this major cut.
Oh, Dragon, good side set by Demon, kind of ganking the bottom lane. Gonna be dove on now as they turret juggle, and Edward takes to the skies to pick up a killing spree.
Aurora Gaming giving Alter Ego the Alter Ego treatment right now.
Right, caught on the way to Dragon now. They're gonna give over a stack to Arfi, so they get something on the map, and Aurora get more value.
It's a good trade for the Northern Lights. An XP laner and a turret for a lone roamer. It's very rare that El Padre Nino gets told what to do. That's just not how it works. Even when they're losing, he's usually the one who wins the lane, who tries to gain back parts of the map. But here, that's a non-starter. Aurora Gaming are dictating the pace, and how unfortunate is it that it's in that same side of the map that the final turtle will spawn.
Another big problem, Yasuke already taking this death, right? And even when Suyo was meta, it wasn't a hero that you wanted to die this early on. It wasn't a hero that you wanted to lose turtles on. And now that that's happened in the current meta, I'm wondering how far back is Yasuke as of now?
We'll see in the items. We'll check in just a bit.
Correct.
The final turtle will be spawning about 50 seconds. Big fight starts.
All in, you blink and you miss it. Arfi disintegrated. Now they're just trying to go for the defense. Petrify on towards Domain. Nino going at it over. Gets the knock up as well. Nino on the back now doing more damage as Demon Kai goes in with a steed and runs through Nino.
2 members down on the side of Alter Ego Esports. A huge gank from Aurora Gaming, sending Arfi back to the base.
El Familia is getting crumbs. Alms, sir. Yasuke is starving. All that upstairs for a turtle. The math doesn't check out. Edward spots Hijume here. Goes into thunder form.
Goes in on the Hijume. Forcing a flicker. Edward! With a flicker himself. Now Arfi trying to go for the damage, but it's Yue! With the shot. Arfi getting barriered away now. Oh, gets smacked by light.
There is no escape right now from Aurora Gaming Philippines. Alec does jump.
Oh, what a peel there. Tectonic charge. And the blazing new way from Domain. Nino taking very low. So able to sustain for some bit. Domain goes back in. Nino still there. It's going to be Alan with Kuno and Yasuke now. Going out of a Demon Kai as his horse.
Alec just trying to get away, but Demon Kai doesn't want to let it happen. Yasuke look for the re-engage.
Weather canceled. Now the blade surge backward. Feather airstrike coming down, and they zone Alter Ego from the purple buff.
Let me commend a play that happened off screen that made the tail end of that sequence immaculate for Aurora Gaming PH. Demon Kai used the Phantom Steed just to get there.
Yep.
So again, the map awareness and communications on Aurora Gaming side is on another level. Yesterday, last night, back to back, 2 teams that are so good at fighting, so good at macro. SRG and Liquid, they did not play this way.
Nope, they did not. And the mechanical awareness on top of that, Leo. Light canceled out the dive from Nino, which would have been a sure kill.
You know, At this point, we just saw the gold spread. Overall, the 2,000 gold lead is pretty divided between 5 members of Aurora Gaming. Alter Ego still not completely out of this, but if it continues on this track, it's going to be tough for them.
Go Hijume back, feather airstrike, so much thrown at Hijume, and he can't handle it. Neither can Nino. He has to use the Black Dragon form defensively.
This was the MO for SRG last night. That one game they won, and that game 4, where it seemed like they were going to equalize, they attacked the heart of Alter Ego's lineup. They attacked Hijume, denied him the game, denied him from playing. But here, it's all the more evident. The Zushin's short to mid-range utility isn't accessible at this time. Lord for free going over to Aurora.
You know, looking at the back at the draft. Oh, Azuke.
No blade surge.
Jason kills him. Edward on a tanky Sora, still packing such a huge punch. I think he could 1v1 just about anybody on Alter Ego Esports right now.
Virgo, Trex, I've never seen Edward this driven. He plays the same game as he did with the Lapu Lapu, 6-1 and 4.
Oh, wait.
He found the angle.
This is nasty.
Yeah, but you know how
The tech charge out Edward with a pullback on RV. And he gets the killing spree, but Edward gets shut down. You were able to stand over, stun over on Hijume.
2 members for the price of Edward, plus huge amounts of space right before the Lord meets the base.
no matter what team Light plays for, RSG, TNC, Warcaster Force, Biggitron,
XBT.
and now Aurora, he's the same high IQ player, finds that massive tech charge. Holy Shield up top pop. Alter Ego looking to protect the real estate. Bottom lane is gonna pop as well. 5K up Aurora Gaming.
You know what I was saying was, I feel like that first phase of drafting, the Jushin was not worth giving over the Grok and the Leomord. I think you take the Grok, you take the Leomord, you give over the Jushin and the other one, and you still get the Barza. Anything, I think Alter Ego, not just in the gameplay, but also the draft, they are getting outmaneuvered right now, and there needs to be an answer soon.
Man, whether airstrike over on RP, doesn't have flicker. And now it's gonna be the barrier coming down again. It's Edward going to the skies, trying to go for a slam. Yazuke in the bottom lane, just really trying to go for a trade, but the waves aren't crashing in just yet.
Yazuke looking for some bottom lane play. Anything, and this is what Yazuke always does well. Even when they're losing, he looks for playing the map. He steals away buffs, he finds towers. He's able to play the map a bit, and it's gonna staunch the bleeding slightly, right? It's a small band-aid on a big flesh wound.
And that flesh wound is ringing to the tune of 5,000 gold up. Half a minute till the Lord spawns, upper quarter. Alter Ego Esports can only pray and hope to get lucky to contest, because the map doesn't belong to them at all. Demon Kite can willy-nilly roughshot, just hit the Phantom Steed, and what, 10 seconds later, be the same kind of threat. Alter Ego Esports, I'll say now, one of their possible win conditions, their outs here, is to get a pick off on Yue. That's a start.
Yeah, Alex got to make a big play, some sort of big kick, but the thing is, his Light is outmaneuvering him time and time again. Nino can't even go in with a big Black Dragon and look for these big petrifies, because Domain just shreds him down.
Oh, Alec.
Out a bad spot.
Way too aggressive. Edward didn't want to go for the flicker just yet, but the airstrike coming down over on Alec as Yazuke gets pulled back, but is able to blade surge out of there. And now it's Aurora knocking on Alter Ego's base.
Lord's gonna spawn in about 20 seconds. Hijume still unable to find his footing. He's miserable in a situation like this. He can't clear waves as effectively as Yue, and he's on the back foot. How does this national champion throw back to his days in Bali, 2022, the prime of his career? How do they close this 7,000 gold gap? Not inside the base, I'll tell you now. It's got to come from somewhere else.
Already a winner crown for Domain Kite at this point, which means he can be even more aggressive on this big advance. Demon Kite now starting off for the Rose Gold, making him be able to be even more aggressive. They are preparing for this attack like they're gonna try to end it here.
That is the Lord up top. Gonna crash into that turret. Say goodbye. Bottom lane. Enemy seems to be the point of contention. The defense. Feathered airstrike by Yue. Not much of a response.
They force the Crimson Beacon out from Hijume. Light just fainted. He went, huh. And Hijume reacted. He flinched. 2 base turrets on the sides. That is the worst combo you could find. And again, it's what LaFell said. Roxa, that combo, brother, is too much.
I'm partial to Farok. And there's the Farsa starting it up. Phantom Steed from Demon Kite. Turret in mid, about to go down.
Edward, oh my god, Light jumps in again! Tech charge! Now Hijume taking low. They're still able to go for it. Nino with the fears down in the pressure fight, but he won't be able to lock them down for long. A cannon in the mid lane as Edward dives in with a crown. Yasuke clears out the cannon but they have another wave.
RP with a couple of free shots and down. Not yet. Edward able to just get away again.
He's taken down. Hijume able to get a shutdown. Demon count on the horse again. Jumps on Yasuke. Bang! Hijume gets away with the Crimson Beacon. Doming's on the base. They can't just end it right here as Nino jumps in, but Yue.
RP keeps on kiting back and forth. He's able to push him away with a couple more shots.
Alpha Amelia stands, still breathing. A 10th left on the base, refusing to go down.
Edward got some kind of plot armor, brother. After losing M4, now in the same arena. Something's clicking.
At this point, I mean, I couldn't even see his health bar at that point.
Yeah.
And the shot residue was on him. There was no reason for him to be able to walk out of that alive right now. He's got the Jakarta energy right now. It's in favor.
You saw his soul almost leave his body, but his body pulled it right back. He's like, no, I ain't dying here. Not today.
He was burning. There was a little bit of a sting there from Hijume, but he refused to go down. The map is going to correct itself given the moment of melancholy for Alter Ego. They get out of their base for the first time in a while. They get to push out, but with all of their base turrets taken out, where do they find a play? I'll tell you now, it's got to come from Nino somewhere, somehow. He's the only real easy way in.
They gotta go back to back. It can't just be Nino, because Nino, he can bait up a Purify, but then what, right? You need someone else to follow up on the Purify that's used.
I hate this. Right now.
Off the Crimson Beacon, it's now or never now. Light jumps in the backline, won't be able to find anything now. Azada goes for the Raiders Dragon, he says Suki, he's able to go for the laser, and now Edward!
RP taken out along with Yasuke. Wait, yes.
He gets stomped to the ground, curb stomp, that's Yue. In a 1v1 against Nino, as Doming goes for the BMI, and Doming! Guns Hijume down! Now it's the base next to the chopping block, and Aurora go 2-0 in the grand finals.
Blinded by the Northern Lights' surgical precision and the seemingly plot armor that keeps their players alive, Alter Ego's signature aggression quelled once more.
Momentum has been built on the side of Aurora PH. And like I said, it feels like from draft to game, they are in control. Professor X has got to go back to the drawing board. He's got to think about something because the trades just aren't feeling right.
Hey, Sam, Yves Wolf Nueto mentioned this. Alter Ego will stick to their guns until it works. And I agree, this is their identity. This is not the time to dig deep and find something that works, because that's what got you to the grand final stage.
But it's all banned, that identity, it's all denied. That's the problem now. Aurora, they took those days where they were off, but it was completely different to the Edward of M4, the Blacklist of M4, who maybe